Hi everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Today we are here to discuss the art of public speaking and how to speak confidently. I am Neha Agrawal. I'm the founder of Eyes Up Communications and I am going to be the facilitator for this session. If you have any questions during our discussion today, please share that with me and I will try and clear your doubts. So I do understand that the art of public speaking is very nerve wracking, correct? But there are certain simple tips that you can follow. And obviously, with a lot of practice, you can, with time, gain mastery over this. So, firstly, how does public speaking even help? So, when you are good at public speaking, when you have good communication skills, it naturally builds your confidence to interact with people, to speak to strangers, and just have a control over yourself in different sort of situations. And secondly, it really helps in career enhancement, career management. So whether it is delivering a presentation, be it in your college or be it in your workplace or participating in group discussions, interviews, that is again where your skill of public speaking really comes into the picture. And if you are able to articulate yourself well, if you are able to explain yourself well, then your chances of clearing that interview really increases. So now I'm actually going to share with you some simple tips that you can follow to improve your public speaking skills. First and foremost, I would like to say that public speaking is not something that people do in an impromptu way. It's something that comes with preparation. So the more preparation you do, whether it's a speech that you have to give, or it's whether it's a presentation that you have to give in your college or at your workplace, the more you prepare, the more confidence that you get. So the first tip that I'd actually like to share with you is that please prepare yourself very well before you're going for any public speaking event. Okay. Secondly, is use of bullet points. How are you even supposed to deliver something? Like whether it's delivering a speech or whether it's delivering a presentation, how are you supposed to do that? Some people, I'll tell you what some people do. Some people, what they do is that they prepare some cue cards and they take that up on the stage and then they read from the cue cards. That also really doesn't look nice, because when you're looking at your cue cards, you break your eye contact with the audience, and the moment you break eye contact with the audience, they immediately get disengaged. They don't want to listen to you. Other thing that some people do, and I'm sure you guys also would have done it at least at some point in your career, is looking at the presentation behind you and reading from the slide. I'm sure a lot of you would have done that, right? Please also don't do that. Again, the reason being that when you look behind and you look at the presentation, you are not engaging with your audience. You're breaking eye contact with them. You have your back facing to them. And also, the audience gets very annoyed, very agitated, because they feel that they can do the reading themselves and they don't want you to be reading for them. So, what kind of delivery mode you need to go for? The kind of delivery mode you need to go for is where, if you have your presentation slides going on, you look for it briefly, you have your bullet points there, and then you again look back at your audience, make eye contact with them, and then explain what that bullet point means. So, which is why I'm telling you that even when you're preparing your presentation, make sure you don't have information in like full sentences. Keep it in bullet points, keep it in phrases, so that they act as cues for you, so that you can remember what exactly do you want to say, but at the same time, you're not reading from the slides. Okay. So please keep information in bullet points. That's my second tip whenever you're going for any public speaking event. Okay. Thirdly, sharing personal anecdotes. So, whenever you're going for public speaking, again, either a presentation or a speech that you're giving, try and include any personal references or any personal anecdotes that really captures the audience and attention, and again brings them back. If they have been, tuned out, it again brings them back. Like, this is something that I do even for all my workshops and courses, be it interview prep workshop, communication skills workshop, GD workshop. I always try to bring my own personal experiences, either something that I have experienced in my own interviews, or I have experienced my what my students have gone through. And the more real experiences that I share with other people, the more interested they actually get in the presentation, the more interested they get in listening to you. So do try and share personal anecdotes as much as you can in a speech or in a presentation. Okay. Then the next thing is keeping it simple. Now, sometimes when we are writing something, it could be an essay that we are writing, for example, we try to use a very high level of vocabulary, complex language, so that we sound very smart, correct? You're not supposed to do that in a presentation. In a presentation, you're not supposed to use very heavy words, long and complex sentences. It doesn't work. Instead, what are you supposed to do is use short and simple sentences, because they are easier to follow. People can easily understand what you're trying to say, and the message goes across very seamlessly, very smoothly. So keep your presentation, keep your speeches simple as much as possible. Okay. Then the next thing is checking for filler words. So a lot of us use some sort of filler words. It could be okay, yeah, things like that. So we do use filler words sometimes when we don't know what we want to say next. And most of the times we do it unconsciously. We don't even know we're using filler words. So one way to identify that would be to record yourself. Either do a simple voice recording, or you can also shoot a video of your own, and then you see how you're speaking, what kind of filler words you're using, and then you can be more conscious from next time and avoid using them. It's better to take a pause rather than fill it using a filler word. Okay. So instead of saying it's just better that you pause, you think for 2 seconds and then you speak. Okay, so that's generally better. And the next is start with small groups. So if initially you're very nervous, how can I start with public speaking? The idea here is to start with small groups, probably 2 or 3 people in the beginning if you're very nervous. Then after that, slowly 5 to 10 people in a presentation, and then you keep expanding it until you become very confident of handling large numbers, say 100 to 150 people. Yeah. Yes, Satish. So Satish is saying keep it simple, stupid. Yes. So this technique can actually be used for public speaking as well. I completely agree with you. And the next thing is using non-verbal communication. So research actually says that 55% of the communication takes place not through what we're speaking, but actually through your body language. So try and incorporate a positive body language when you're going for public speaking. And what does that include? So it first thing is eye contact. So when you are in a large group, how are you even supposed to make eye contact? Well, say for example, you have 100, people in front of you. What you're supposed to do is actually divide them into three sections. And then what you do is you pick one person from the left, you make eye contact with that person, and you speak 2, 3 lines. What happens is that the entire audience in this part gets engaged. Then you do the same thing in the middle. You pick one person, somebody you're more comfortable looking at, and then you speak 2, 3 lines to that person, and then the audience in the middle part gets engaged, and then you do immediately the same thing on the right hand side. So when you keep switching like this, what happens is that no matter how large a group is in front of you, you will easily be able to engage them and capture their attention. Okay. For video conferencing platform, I would suggest that what you do is either look at the camera, or most video conferencing platforms nowadays have this small screen that appears right where you can see yourself. So what I do is I like to drag that and put it just below my laptop camera. That way I actually look at myself and I give the entire presentation, and people get the feeling that I'm actually making eye contact with them. Because I can't see that box right now, I'm not sure if I'm actually making eye contact with you guys or not. I'll probably check later on when this video is published, but that's how it works. Okay. So one is eye contact. Next is hand gestures. So whenever you're going for public speaking, try and also use hand gestures. Don't obviously use too much so that it gets very distracting for your audience. But some form of hand gesture is nice. It not only builds your confidence, but it also looks very professional. sometimes when you're presenting, you actually have a presenter in your hand and then you have only one hand for the hand gestures. But otherwise, if that's not the case, then a very basic hand gesture that you can go for is the steeple pose. So steeple pose, we actually hold it here. I can't show you properly right now, but we actually hold it here and then you walk around the stage or you stand at one place and you deliver your speech. It looks very nice and looks very professional. Otherwise, to explain certain things, you can always use hand gestures. Say, for example, numbers. So you want to explain three things. So you can actually show that to your audience. Today I'm going to talk about three things. The first is this, the second is this, and the third is this. Or say, for example, if you want to talk about levels, then you start like this. First, I would like to talk about this, then moving on to the next part, and then I'll move to the final part. So you see, by showing levels also, it makes it very impactful and it looks very interesting and very engaging for your audience as well. Yeah. So Sharmila is saying that yes, I am trying to maintain eye contact in this video. Okay, glad to hear that. Thanks, Sharmila. All right. Yes. And so we've spoken about eye contact, we've spoken about hand gestures, then obviously your posture is very important. Don't slouch back somewhere or take rest of a wall. Please try to maintain a straight posture, stand straight or sit straight if sitting, if you're sitting and delivering the presentation. And keep your chin slightly up. When you have your chin slightly raised up, that's a position of confidence. In fact, it builds your own confidence as well. So that's for posture. You can also move around a little bit if you want. Don't walk too much around the stage because then again it's going to be distracting for your audience. But create like a square for yourself. And you take few steps in that square and then you come back, then you go in another direction, then you come back. So the idea is to just move around a little bit. Okay, and then obviously your facial expressions. So personally for me, I like to have a short smile on my face. In fact, if you guys would have seen my videos till now, I'm always smiling and delivering my videos. But then that works for me. It actually builds my confidence. It makes me feel more comfortable. So you guys can also try that. You can also have a short smile on your face. That also shows your confidence. Otherwise, your facial expressions should also change with the context or with the content that you're sharing. So say for example you're sharing something serious, then obviously your pitch slightly lowers down and you speak in a serious tone. Otherwise, if you're sharing something which is very exciting, then your pitch goes up and you have a big smile on your face and it also shows your excitement. Okay. So you can do all of these things, guys, to work on your public speaking and make it more engaging and more interactive. And finally, the last step would actually be to practice. Okay, if you don't practice, then all these tips are useless. You need to start slowly, start practicing, and you will see an improvement. If I share my personal example with you today, if you go back to my YouTube channel and you open the first video that is there, it's called how to write a research paper. And if you see the most recent video that I've posted, you will see a major difference in the way I speak. Initially I was very camera conscious. I did not know how to speak in front of a camera, but slowly with practice and obviously 80 to 85 videos later, you can definitely see that improvement and how comfortable I've become. And the only thing is through practice, by observing myself, seeing where I'm making mistakes, and then consciously working on them. Okay. So I hope these tips were useful to you and you will be able to implement them. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, you can actually leave them in the chat box and probably I will tackle them later as well. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Thanks for joining me today and I wish you all the best. I am trying to do these live sessions every 2 weeks. So if you also have a special request about a live session that I should do next, please let me know. Okay. So thank you so much. Have a great day and I wish you all the very best. Bye. Take care.